Hello there. Sanctions and boycotts continue to pile up against Russia as U.S. companies face pressure to take action. I'm Lin Fu. Thanks for joining us on SD Live. McDonald's joining the list of major corporations shutting their operations in Moscow and beyond. The American fast food giant will temporarily close all 847 of its restaurants in Russia, increasing pressure on other global brands to pause operations in the country. A symbolic act, as the opening of the iconic fast food restaurant in 1990 represented the opening of the USSR to the Western world. McDonald's has said it would continue to pay salaries to its 62,000 employees in Russia. Soon after the announcement from the Golden Arches, other prominent food and beverage companies followed, shuttering operations and halting sales. These include Starbucks, Coca-Cola and PepsiCo. Yum Brands, which owns fast food restaurants KFC and Pizza Hut, has also suspended investments in the country and will be halting operations at 70 KFCs and 50 Pizza Huts. Russian forces will stop firing from 10 a.m. Moscow time, according to Russia's state media, to allow people to leave Kiev and 4 other cities through humanitarian corridors. But it is unclear if Ukrainian authorities will be able to evacuate civilians after previous failed ceasefire attempts. On Tuesday, the first successful humanitarian corridor agreed with Russia opened in the city of Sumy. Civilians and foreign students trapped by fighting since Russian troops invaded Ukraine were seen boarding buses to leave the besieged city. Ukraine has refused to use any humanitarian corridors offered by Russia that take Ukrainians into Russian or Belarusian territory. More than 2 million Ukrainians, mostly women and children, have fled their country since Russia began its invasion almost 2 weeks ago, and that number is rising. This tracker from the UN Refugee Agency shows where Ukrainians have been crossing to neighbouring countries. The vast majority, more than 1.2 million, have been welcomed by Poland, which borders Ukraine to the west. One freelance journalist we are about to speak to crossed to Poland from western Ukraine just a few days ago. Edward Cowley joins us now to tell us more. Edward, thank you very much for joining us early this morning where you are. More than 1 million refugees have poured into Poland. Where are they all being housed?
Yeah, hi. I mean, I actually heard it was closer to 2 million. I mean, the answer is they're being housed everywhere and anywhere. We've been trying to find a flat in Krakow now for 3 days, and we can't find anything. Everything has been just completely booked out, really, since last week. So, I mean, the answer is, you know, some people are being put up with individual citizens, some people are being put up by businesses, some people are being put up by charities. If you go into the main station in Krakow, there's a sort of charity office there for free accommodation, and you know the queues for that sort of snake for, you know, I mean, almost going out of the station. I mean, so yeah, so the answer is that yeah, it's a problem to find anywhere here in Poland at the moment.
From your observations, how are the Polish people responding to the influx of refugees?
Yeah, very well. I mean, very organised given the circumstances, and you know, there's a real empathy to Ukrainians here. I mean, I think, you know, the Polish are very aware of their own history, including previous wars that they've had with Russia, yeah, there's. Yeah, as I said, real empathy. I mean, also, we actually crossed, not into Poland initially, but to Slovakia, because it's less busy. We made that decision deliberately. And I would say that the way it's being dealt with in Poland, as opposed to Slovakia, is much better, much more organised.
Now, with such huge numbers pouring into Poland, one can imagine how much aid would be needed there. Have you seen aid supplies reaching the refugees who have come from Ukraine?
Well, I actually haven't, but that's probably because, we're stuck in a hotel sort of way out of town. Um, I mean, they presumably have sort of warehouses for that, where everything's distributed. I mean, the only thing I've seen in terms of aid is stuff going over the border. When we were queuing up at the Slovakian border in the middle of the night, there were vans going through to Ukraine, straight into Ukraine, and people that I met in Lviv in the west of Ukraine, they were distributing aid, including, some sort of basic sort of military stuff like boots for soldiers, and those kind of things. But in terms of here in Poland, I haven't actually seen any of that. No.
Okay, we understand you went to Ukraine with your friend a few days ago. Why were you there? And can you talk us through your experience in the western city of Lviv?
Yeah, I mean, so the main reason I was there was to try and get my girlfriend, Svetlana, out of the country, because she was caught. She lives in Kiev, where, as you know, there's been an onslaught of bombing and air attacks. So that was the priority. I am a journalist as well, but I mean, I didn't have any accreditation lined up. I was actually working on a screenplay when all this happened. So, we had to just move extremely quickly, get out of the UK as soon as possible. So I think we managed to get into Lviv on the evening of the 1st of March. And actually, personally, it was pretty nerve-wracking because I've been to Russia a number of times in the past, and my passport is literally littered with Russian visas and stamps. And of course, this is going to be a problem, right? And it did turn out to be a problem. When we managed to find somewhere to stay, the police turned up and the secret police turned up. I mean, it was all right in the end. We managed to explain it all, but it was certainly scary, and I would not go back to Ukraine until I've changed my passport. In terms of Lviv, certainly an atmosphere of defiance there as you get off the train. Chaotic. I mean, Lviv isn't yet on the front lines. It's getting, you get air raids a couple of times during the night, and then sometimes during the day. But I mean, certainly the people we spoke to have absolutely no intention whatsoever of giving up this fight. There's real spirit there, and I just don't ever see how that's going to be broken, frankly. Even if there's some kind of occupation, God forbid. So I mean, that spirit was something that will stay with me, frankly.
But you mentioned the word scary. Was there at any point in time that you felt that your life was in extreme danger?
No, there wasn't, to be totally honest with you. I mean, we met some journalists on the train that were going up to the front line. One guy, some British guys, ex-military, and we've seen the reports of journalists being shot at and stuff. I mean, they're in real danger. But certainly, we weren't in danger like that, to be honest.
All right, thank you very much, Edward, for sharing your story. Edward Cowley, the UK-based freelance journalist, currently in Krakow, Poland. The United States says it is banning Russian oil imports, putting more pressure on Vladimir Putin to end Russia's deadly attacks on Ukraine. The US is acting alone on this, as many of its European allies may not be in a position to impose a similar ban.
Today, I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine.
Using the same language, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked Mr. Biden for striking, I quote, striking in the heart of Putin's war machine. He is also encouraging other countries and leaders to follow suit. And our coverage on the Ukraine crisis continues on straitstimes.com and on Facebook as well as YouTube. Don't forget to hit subscribe to stay informed and activate the bell icon on YouTube to catch live news updates. I'm Lin Li Fu. Thanks for watching.